Hey, this is the definitive course on cash flow investing for beginners. I'm Michael Albersi, and I had $1 million net worth at 26 years old through my day job income and investing aggressively. And I teach thousands of people how to invest for real wealth. When I have free time, I'm learning everything I can about this topic, I'm searching for deals, and then I'm sharing everything that I'm learning with you. And once you understand what I'm going to show you in this course, you're going to look at money and investing completely differently. The methods and lessons that I'll teach you compound over time, so even 1 or 2 ideas from this program can change your life. I have reverse engineered my entire wealth roadmap for you. This is what I've learned after paying multiple 5 figures for investing groups, coaching, and sinking thousands of hours into reading, consuming, and creating content. I've still made plenty of beginner mistakes, so this course is exactly what I wish I had 5 years ago, and it would have saved me a lot of money. I'm here to give you my shortcuts so you can spend less time at your desk and more time doing what you actually love to do. I'll be sure to start slow and then build on concepts progressively so that you can digest the information and then actually do something with it. And even though the topics are all around personal finance and investing, the end goal is financial freedom and being able to choose what you do every day. I'm still in my financial freedom journey, but if I had complete independence, I'd want to be outside in nature going on a hike with my family. While I do love investing, and I do, it's a means to an end so that we can enjoy our lives, have more options, and make an impact on what we choose to work on. This topic is worth mastering for your freedom, and it will pay you so many dividends the rest of your life. Without further ado, I'm excited to unveil the Cash Flow Explorer program. You can think of it as a 7-level expedition to financial freedom. Right now, we're at level 0, but if you follow the trail, you walk the same journey as me, and you'll know exactly where you are today and what you need to do to get to the next level, and we're gonna have some fun along the way. To give you a preview of what's coming up, level 1 is Financial Base Camp, where we'll establish the basic principles that everything else is built on top of. Level 2, Get Your Bearings, will help you identify your starting position and then nail down what your goals are. Level 3, Pack for the Journey, is all about strategies to maximize your savings so that you can invest as much as possible. Level 4, Always Safety First, helps you invest for retirement and protects you from risk. Starting at level 5, we're kind of venturing into the backcountry, so to say, and the education gets quite advanced. So level 5, Exploring Alternatives, dives into all of the investments outside of the stock market, like real estate, private equity, private credit, and more. Level 6, Cash Flow Climbing, then goes even deeper, covering topics like due diligence and helping you with your first cash flow investment. And then level 7, Guiding Light, is about multiplying wealth and building your legacy. I'm so excited to share this with you because this is the roadmap that I have always dreamed of. And Trailmix Wealth is the brand where all of the education, resources, and community will be housed. There is an intentional juxtaposition between Trailmix and wealth, because many advanced wealth building brands are exclusive and can kind of be a little bit stuffy, but wealth isn't about money. Building wealth isn't some type of club that you have to get into. Real wealth is having your health, thriving relationships, and time freedom. You don't need to enjoy hiking or the great outdoors to appreciate the journey that is life, but that's just how we do things at Trailmix. We'd rather be accessible to all and not take ourselves so seriously. We're different on purpose. All right, let's get into the Cash Flow Explorer program and what it is and what it is not. So it's not just another personal finance course. It's going to be a clear roadmap for your financial freedom. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on just basic personal finance principles, but I'm going to pull out the most important things so that you can keep moving. It also isn't slide after slide of AI slop. This is several hundred hours of my brain just poured into these slides, and I cannot wait to take you through them. I only used AI for research, checking my facts, and then creating a couple AI generated images that you'll see throughout. Next, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm going to show you the short and long-term methods to actually build real wealth. So if you expected to get passive income out of thin air, this is not the course for you. This course also isn't me making a quick buck. I have taken so many paid courses in this space, and I can tell you this free course is better than all of them. It also isn't a fire hose of unactionable theories. Every video has action items and supporting activities for you. The information you'll learn also isn't easily found on Google and through AI. I have spent multiple 5 figures on my education and over 7 figures of my personal net worth investing to teach you these lessons. And come on guys, it's not going to be boring, stuffy, or confusing. We're going to have an approachable and fun experience. And if you're wondering if this is for you, it's not just for beginners and it's not just for the wealthy. It's going to get progressively more advanced as we go. So I guarantee there's going to be something in here for you. And lastly, this isn't just generic advice from someone unqualified. I'd love to tell you more about my story. Let's get into it. So in this video, we're going to cover my story, disclaimers, and then real wealth. So here's a little bit more about my story. This is me and my beautiful wife, Amy. In 2024, we were making exactly $161 a month in passive income, and it was just interest from my high yield savings account. I had no idea how this passive income journey would go, but I was committed to figuring it out and sharing that online. Fast forward to today, and now we make multiple four figures a month in passive income. But let's rewind a little bit and see how we got here in the first place. During the COVID pandemic of 2020, I was a virtual Google intern. I was supposed to go visit them in California, but COVID shut that all down. So instead, I worked my butt off at my parents' house and got the return offer. With my Google job offer going into senior year, I had a lot of time to prepare before moving across the country. I heard really good things about the Google office, so I had a crazy idea to live in a van and save money. And I found a Ford Transit van online. I went to the bank to wire the money. The local bank manager was definitely a bit hesitant to let 22-year-old me wire money for a van I never saw in person, but thankfully it all worked out, and the empty van showed up at my parents' house a couple weeks later, and I started to get to work. At first, the van was just a completely blank canvas, so I was starting from scratch, and I was able to let my creativity run wild. To take you through the build process a little bit, I started with the flooring, and then I took a saw and carved windows into the side of the van. I also did a DIY electrical system, so I sized all the fuses and breakers. I put in solar panels, a 2,000 watt inverter, I had lithium ion batteries, and wired this all together. I learned a ton. I didn't have any experience before this, so I know it sounds a little bit sketch, but I spent a lot of time on YouTube and making sure I was triple checking my work. I also fully insulated the van, put in some lights and some nice ceiling panels. I also learned how to do all of my own carpentry and built cabinets and a closet as well as the bed platform. Some other things not shown in these pictures were a full fresh water system, a sink, a toilet, a full propane system with a hot water shower. I truly had everything that you needed. And this is the final product of what the van turned out to be. One of my favorite parts of the van were the blue acrylic countertops, which were left over from a museum in North Carolina. And on the outside of the van, I actually built a deck on the roof so you can watch sunrises or sunsets. I also had solar panels on the roof, and then in the back of the van, I had some sliding out drawer slides that had my mountain bike as well as extra storage for things like my camping gear. So this is the van that I lived in for about 2 years while I was working for Google in California. And we had an epic road trip across the country when I was driving from North Carolina to California. I had actually never been to a national park before, and this is where my love of the parks really started. So this is a picture of us in Bryce Canyon and then Zion National Park, which is our favorite national park so far. And then there's a couple of different parks in California. So let me know if you recognize where these are from. When I finally made it to the Google office out in California, my life was pretty much sponsored by Google. So I would wake up early, go into the office, brush my teeth, use the restroom, and then I had breakfast, I had lunch, and then I would take an extra sandwich for dinner. So I had 3 meals a day covered by work. I also went to the gym after work, and then I showered. So they had truly everything that you needed, even on-site laundry, which is just crazy. So I am so grateful for 2 of my friends who came into the office every day to keep me company so I wasn't so alone. And because I had so much free time when I was just by myself out in the van, I found a love for personal finance education and investing. So it was at this time that I started to look into things like my net worth. Do I have a budget? What is a Roth IRA? I didn't even have a savings account opened at this point. So this is when I learned all of the things that I know today. And to give you a little bit more of that financial impact from living in the van, the total cost of the van was $56,000. So the van was $33,000, and then I put $22,000 of materials into it. I lived for free in the Bay Area of California for 2 years, earning a good tech sales salary. And then after that, I sold the van for $86,000. So this was the financial catapult that got me going for the rest of my life. I am forever grateful for my van life experience and being able to travel and save so much money, but I don't think I could do it again at this point, but I'm glad I did it in my early 20s. So after the van life, moved back to the East Coast, I proposed to my fiance, we got married, we bought a house in Atlanta, and I am a very proud owner of a minivan. And then shortly after we got a minivan, we had our first kid. So this completely gets you up to speed on where we are today. And to talk more about my love for investing, I had a friend give me the Lifestyle Investor book a couple years ago, and it was talking about investing for passive income and cash flow. It's like, this sounds great, but is this actually real? So what I decided to do is I was going to document my process on social media, going to $15,000 a month in passive income. And things immediately took off because a lot of people are curious if passive income is real and how you can actually create it. It shocked me how quickly the account took off, even when I was starting with just a small amount of monthly passive income. And I think documenting the journey from the very beginning has been one of my biggest assets to show how far I've come in this time. And at this point now, our passive income is enough to cover all of our bills. So our mortgage, our utilities, groceries, anything. Investing for passive income has brought so much financial flexibility to our lives, and that is why I'm so focused on bringing this free education to everybody. The standard advice is to go to school, get a high-paying job, max out your 401k, buy index funds, and wait. And this is the 30 or 40-year method, and it's designed to keep you working until standard retirement age, where you build up this big nest egg, and then you actually sell off little parts of it to live. I don't want to demonize any strategy, but when you lock your money away in tax-deferred retirement accounts, you are making a trade. You're trading money in your pocket in control today for retirement when you're 65. I don't want you to defer your life. I want you to invest in a way that actually puts money into your pocket every month or every quarter. I don't want us to have to be forced to go into the office and sit in a cubicle, invest when you're 25, and then retire when you're 65. That just isn't a good trade to be spending the prime of your life under fluorescent lights. So my goal is to help you build a portfolio that generates cash flow and financial freedom in years, not decades. I also don't want you to have to sell off portions of your investments to live. I want you to keep these assets forever as a passive income machine. This is why I invest in alternative assets. These are things like real estate and small businesses. They are tangible assets in the real world that pay us cash flow now. But I do not recommend you jump right into these investments. And that is why I'll be guiding you through the Cash Flow Explorer program to make sure that you're prepared. So I've experimented with many types of investments to generate passive income, almost like they're different pieces of a trail mix. So some pieces will be salty to you, some will be sweet, but you will find your own investment mix that works well for you and grants you your financial freedom. Our story is just beginning, and by sharing best practices and tips and tricks, we can all go further together and help each other reach financial freedom. Before we dive into the content of this journey, I have a couple of quick disclaimers. Honestly, it is a big deal for me to be bringing this education to you publicly, and I need to do so carefully. I don't want to gatekeep any information, so these disclaimers are here for my protection. All right, in this course, I'm going to show you things that will contradict your beliefs. None of us set out to be average, so why do we keep consuming the same average personal finance content? I'm going to be showing you the advanced wealth building strategies as we progress through this program. Now let's go to the big, beautiful disclaimer slide. So first, I'll say that my results are not typical. I have worked to maximize my income and minimize my expenses and invest as much as possible. You may not be willing to live in a van outside of your employer's office, and that is totally okay. My intention is to share actionable principles and education, but the implementation is up to you. And speaking of, this is education, not advice. I'm a guy on the internet trying to help you build wealth, but I don't know your personal situation. So I highly recommend you have professionals on your team, like a CPA and tax strategist, to talk with you before you take action. If you have questions or are looking for recommendations, you can always message me, but it's not a substitute for financial advice. Also, the information that I share in my videos isn't a solicitation, offer, or endorsement of any company, security, investment, or fund. You will see pictures from my investments or some return metrics, but I am not publicly endorsing anything in my content or asking you to invest with me. And then last, alternative investments are high risk and best suited for experienced, accredited investors. No investment is without risk, and the more education, experience, and capital you have to weather the storm, the better. I'll share more information later on how you can lower your risk, but these are still investments that carry risk. Before I turn you over into the Cash Flow Explorer program, I'm going to leave you with one last thing, and that is real wealth. Let's start by defining wealth. What is it? Well, Naval Ravikant has a great quote that we should seek wealth, not money or status. Wealth is having assets that earn while you sleep. Okay, that sounds like passive income. In my opinion, the best way to build wealth is by treating it like a game. And just like any game, you need to know the rules and grow your skills to win. But how do you actually win the wealth game? Morgan Housel has a great quote that the highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today, representing true independence. So real wealth is actually financial independence and time freedom. Real wealth isn't acquiring everything you want. It's not the boat or the private jets. It's actually the absence of desire for external things. So when you don't need anything and you're content, that is true real wealth. And here's how you get there. So you have money, but money is just a tool. It is not the goal. We're not chasing money. We're not chasing status. Instead, we use money as a tool to buy assets. And these assets pay you cash flow while you sleep. So assets make you more money, and then you use your money to purchase more assets. And after you go through this cycle enough times, you have enough for your real wealth, where you don't need to work anymore, you're work optional, and you can do whatever you want with your days. Your income and money does not directly lead to wealth. You need to buy assets, and your assets create real wealth. But just like all good things in life, building real wealth takes time, and we have to let our investments compound. So this is it, guys. This is the entire course. We're going to be taking money to buy assets to create wealth. And I want you to imagine, just picture it. What does real wealth look like to you individually? So what time do you wake up? What is your morning routine? Where do you drink your coffee? What kind of shape are you in? How does your mind feel? And what are you working on, if anything? And then who's with you and how do those relationships feel? Do they feel a little bit lighter and more life-giving now that you're not worried about money every day? And I also want to ask you about your vision. Do you have a big vision or dream for the future that you're working towards? And what does financial freedom actually look like to you in your daily life? For me and Amy, I just want to be outside as much as possible. I love mowing the lawn and doing manual labor. It sounds really weird, but I just want a peaceful, slower life where we can raise our kids outdoors and grow our own food. I know this is super granola, but we just want to do the homestead thing like a lot of other people our age. But I'm really curious. I would love if you could share your vision and what financial freedom looks like to you on the Trailmix website. And you can also see what other people wrote. So I want to know, what are we doing all this for? As for the vision for Trailmix, we are building the most trusted brand in cash flow investments. Our team is laser focused on bringing accessible, approachable investing education to all. And we have a specific focus on cash flow investments because that's what actually leads to financial freedom. All right, to wrap us up, I encourage you to take the explorer's mindset and enjoy the journey along the way, not just the destination. Because if you're only dreaming about the mountaintop, you'll be unhappy the entire time. And then when you get there, you'll realize that money won't make you content. The destination is actually the journey along the way and searching for contentment. So I hope you get to enjoy it. Instead of hyper-focusing on money, think about investing into your skills, relationships, and becoming the person capable of building wealth, and it will follow. Never lose sight of the end goal. What would you do with financial freedom? What would you spend time doing? It's not about money, it's about playing the game so that you can enjoy your life. Now that we're feeling all warm and fuzzy, here's what's next. You can watch these videos straight through in order as I've set it up. Up next is Personal Finance 101. It's the building blocks for your financial freedom. If that sounds a little bit too basic for you, you can go to our website and take the quiz, and it will jump you right to the exact level where you need to start. If there is ever anything I can do to support you along this wealth building adventure, don't hesitate to reach out. We're on the same path together, and it's better to hike with friends. See you in the next video.